All right, put your finger under that phonogram you just wrote. What is it? Good. This is our. If you need to fix it, make sure you're saying it while you're fixing it. Remember, make sure you're saying it. That's how we form that pathway in our brain from the front to the back. Right? That's how we remember all our phonograms. All right, our next phonogram is ed-t, past tense ending. What are you going to write?
Ed-t, past tense ending.
Great. Say it while you write it.
Ed-t, past tense ending.
Put your finger under that phonogram you just wrote, class. Thank you, everyone who said it while they were writing it. What is it?
Ed-t, past tense ending.
Excellent. This is our ed-t, past tense ending. You need to fix it. Say it while you're fixing it. All right, great. Our next phonogram is A-E that we do use at the end of English words. What are you going to write?
A-E that we do use at the end of English words.
Great. Say it while you write it.
A-E that we do use at the end of English words.
All right, thank you. If you're sitting up nice and straight, feet on the floor, holding your paper with the hand that you're not writing with. Can you sit on your bottom with your both feet on the floor? Thank you so much. All right, put your finger under that phonogram, class. What is it?
A-E that we do use at the end of English words.
All right, that's one of our newer ones. This is our A-E that we do use at the end of English words. So if you need to fix it, say it while you're fixing it. Class, let's all write it 2 more times, saying it each time because this is a newer one and we want to make sure we remember it.
A-E that we do use at the end of English words. A-E that we do use at the end of English words.
All right, thank you. Pencils are down when we're finished with that. All right, our next phonogram is G-J. Class, what are you going to write?
G-J.
Say it while you write it.
G-J.
All right, put your finger under that phonogram, class. What is it?
G-J.
G-J. Good. This is our G-J. If you need to fix it, say it while you're writing it. Can you write it one more time, saying it while you write it? And that's how we remember it. All right, our next one is a 2-letter A that we do use at the end of English words. What are you going to write?
A 2-letter A that we do use at the end of English words.
Good. Say it while you write it.
A 2-letter A that we do use at the end of English words.
All right, class, put your finger under that phonogram. What is it?
A 2-letter A that we do use at the end of English words.
Good. This is our A 2-letter A that we do use at the end of English words. So if you didn't have that, write it and say it while you write it. I'm not hearing you say it while you write it. That's how we form that connection in our brain so we remember it. If we need to practice that at recess, if we're not doing it, I can have you do that. I would rather you did it in class when it's time for that, though. All right, our next phonogram is ya, I-E. Class, what are you going to write?
Ya, I-E.
Say it while you write it.
Ya, I-E.
All right, class, put your finger under that phonogram. Okay. What is it?
Ya, I-E.
Good. Ya, I-E. This is our ya, I-E. All right, so if you didn't have that, write it and say it while you write it. All right, class, this phonogram is very special. Can anyone tell me why? It's the only letter of the alphabet that can be two things. It can't be two things at the same time, but it could be either of two things. All right, everyone who knows, tell me, what's one thing that this could be?
A consonant.
And what's the other thing it could be?
A vowel.
Excellent. There's only one other phonogram that can make a vowel sound or a consonant sound, and that is this guy. Did you know that this guy can make a vowel sound or a consonant sound? Its first sound, ed, is a vowel. Well, we treat it like a vowel, right? Because it gets its own syllable, so we know it's a vowel. But when it's saying its second sounds, d or t, it's a consonant. So these two are pretty special, but this is the only one in the alphabet that can be a vowel or a consonant. All right, let's get ready to do some review words. Actually, let's stretch our arms out before we do that. So let's see, stretch out one shoulder. While you're doing that, let's get count by threes. Ready? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30. And switch. Let's challenge ourselves. Let's do it backwards. Are you ready? 30, 27, 24, 21, 18, 15, 12, 9, 6, 3, 0. Nice job challenging yourselves. All right, shake it up. And sitting up nice and straight. All right, class, our first word is these. What are we going to write?
These.
Oh, sorry, I think I said it so it was hard for you to hear. These. What's the word?
These.
Yes, good. These books are heavy. These. Class, what sounds do we hear in the word these?
E.
Good. Our sounds are th, e, z. All right, our e is e. Class, how are we going to make our e say e?
Silent final E, job 1.
Good, but our z is z. Which z are we going to use? Good. S, z. So one more time to write these. What are we going to write?
E. Silent final E, job 1.
Good. And which z is it? Good. S, z. Say the sounds in these while you write them. Oh my goodness, thank you. You're waiting so patiently. I'm seeing a lot of us showing so much temperance right now. I'm very impressed. I know you're trying to get me to send you to 3rd grade already, but I can't do it. We've got the rest of the year together. Don't try and leave me. All right, put your finger under the first phonogram in that word. What is it? Oh, wait. Oh, and these. What's our first sound? Ooh, oh, that's right.
E.
Which? Good.
Silent final E, job 1.
All right. Make sure yours looks like this. Great. And let's all right, one more time, since I know a couple of us are fixing it. So let's use that time, write it one more time, saying the sounds while you write them. Even if you got it correct, we'll just practice one more time.
Silent final E, job. Silent final E, job.
All right, before we mark our word, class, can you tell me the two sounds of this phonogram? Can you show me how we'll mark it for these? Thank you. So many of you are listening, doing a fantastic job. All right, let's mark our word because I know we're going to get it right on the first time now. Does this need a marking? Perfect. It's saying its second sound. How about this? Good. We need to underline it because it's saying it's what?
Name.
How about this one? This one also gets both of these because it goes with that silent final E team, but it's saying its second sound. And how about this one? Good, that's a lot of markings. Wait, double underline and job 1. All right, pick up your pencil and mark the word. Everything gets a marking. All right, let's read our word.
These.
All right, next we're going to write the antonym or the opposite of these. Do you know what it is? Tell me.
Those.
Those, good. We're not talking about these books, we're talking about those books over there. All right, good. Our next word is those. I thought those cookies were delicious. Those. What sounds do we hear in the word those?
O. Silent.
All right. Yep, we know this one because it's a review one, but our sounds are th, o, z. All right, our o, or our o is o, how do we make it say o?
Silent final E, job 1.
Good, and again, our z is s, z. Class, which z are we going to use in those? Z, z. Excellent, say the sounds while you write them. Put your finger under the first phonogram in that word. Thank you for getting ready so quickly. What is it? Which z?
Silent final E, job 1.
All right, make sure yours looks like this. All right, let's mark it. Does this need a marking? All right, what are the two sounds of this phonogram? Oh, good. So in those, it gets this as well. How about this one? Good. We're underlining because it's saying its name. How about this one? Good. This one gets both of these again because it goes with the sound finally, and it's saying its second sound in this one. Good. Double underline. Pick up your pencil and mark it. Let's read our word. Class, eyes are up here.
Those.
Good. All right. Our next word is gym. Class, what's the word?
Gym.
But not like the person's name. We went to the gym to play volleyball. Gym. That is, we say it all the time, but it's actually a shortened version of gymnasium. That's the whole word, but we usually just say gym. All right, what sounds do we hear in the word gym?
Yeah,
Good. Our sounds are j, eh, Now this is a short word, but there's a couple things we have to remember. The first thing is that our j is g, j. Class, which j do we use in gym? G, j. Good. And our I is not our usual I. It's ya, I-E. Class, which I do we use in gym?
I-E.
And can you tell me what's letting our g, j say j?
I-E.
All right, can we say the whole rule? G followed by E, I, or Y may say j. All right. Write the sounds in gym. Say them while you write them. All right, pencils are down when you're finished. Oh my goodness, just so much temperance today. All right, class, put your finger under the first phonogram. All right, what's our first sound?
Ja.
Which j?
Ja.
G, j. Good.
E.
Which I?
I-E.
Good. Yeah, I-E. All right, make sure yours looks like this. It's funny, for a word with just 3 phonograms, there's 2 different things we have to remember. All right, let's mark it. Class, does this need a marking? I know. So the g, j, when it's saying j, I do like to mark it because remember the rule is that it may say j. So I don't mark our k saying because it has to say its second sound if E, I, or Y comes after it. But since g, j doesn't, I want us to put a 2 on top just because it'll help us when we're reading our word. We won't have to be thinking, is this saying g or j? Does this need a marking? Wait a minute. Class, it's almost never that we don't mark this phonogram, but this phonogram right here gets no markings. How about this? Nope, so all we need is that 2 on our g, j. Go ahead and mark it. All right, when we're finished, eyes up here so we can read it. All right, class, did you know that we almost never see this phonogram saying I? Have you realized that? In fact, I can only think of maybe about four words in English that I know that I can think of where this says I. Right, that's because usually this is replacing I at the end of a word, right? So it's saying either E or I because it's at the end of a word. So it's very rare where we have this saying its first vowel sound. All right, let's read our word. All right, nice. Our next word, this is a review word. We did this one pretty recently. Our word is study. Class, what's the word?
Study.
How many syllables are in study? How many syllables? Study. Good, sorry, I should have used it in a sentence. If I study hard, I think I will pass the test. Study. All right, good. There's 2 syllables. What's the first syllable?
Stud.
And the second one?
E.
And which? Oh, I should just make sure we get all the sounds in that first syllable. What are we going to write for the syllable stud?
Stud.
All right, one more time. Not everyone was telling me. Good. And our second syllable, E, if you remember which E we used, tell me.
Y-A-I-E.
Excellent. Write the sounds in study and say them while you write them. Put your finger under the first phonogram in that word. What is it?
E.
Which E is it?
Y-A-I-E.
Good, yeah. Yeah, I-E. Make sure yours looks like this. All right, and if you're fixing it, thank you so much for saying the sounds while you write them and forming connections in your brain. And remember, if you're writing the word and the phonogram has more than one sound, we just say the sound that it's making in the word. That might make our lives a little easier. Class, what kind of syllable is this first syllable?
Closed.
Closed. Do we need to mark anything in that syllable?
No.
We sure don't. How are we going to mark this? Okay, remember? So if this is saying its name, what's this guy's name when it's a vowel? I, right? Because the consonant sound is ya, the vowel sounds are if, which we don't mark. I, which we mark like this. And then E, which how do we mark E? Show me. Just the 3 on top. All right, go ahead and mark your word. All right, class, can you tell me what's letting our ya, I, E say E here?
An open syllable.
Exactly, but we have a different rule for I and Y. Can we say our rule?
I
and Y usually say E or I at the end of a syllable, but may say if. Excellent. Oh, I'm so glad you remember it. All right, let's read our word.
Study.
Excellent. All right. We are going to add a suffix. I will let you choose. We can write either studies or studied. If you want to write studies, raise your hand. All right, that looks like our majority. So we'll go ahead and write studies. Put your hands down. All right. So studies could be either a noun or a verb, right? If we say the student works hard at her studies, in that sense, we're using it as a noun. But if I wanted to talk about one other person and studying, I would say she studies hard. All right, so studies, noun or verb, so it is a homonym, spelled the same, means 2 different things. All right, studies, we're going to write our base word study, but what rule are we going to have to use? Everyone who knows, tell me.
Y exchange rule.
Perfect. So when we're writing studies, we're going to trade our Y for an I. And then what do we have to add? Can we just add S?
No.
What do we add?
E-S.
Good. We've got to get that silent E in there. All right. So studies, again, still just 2 syllables. Do you feel like you're ready to write it without more help? Perfect. Go ahead and write studies, saying the sounds while you write them. All right. So when our pencils are down, let's see, I'll have you tell me just the first syllable, and then the second syllable, I'll ask you to tell me everything, just so I write it correctly. Class, finger under that first syllable. What's our first syllable?
Stud.
Stud. All right. And then what do I have to write for my second syllable?
In.
All right. Oh wait, what is my sound? My first sound?
E.
E. Which E?
N-I-E.
Excellent. What's next?
Silent vowel.
And we would say silent E. And what's next? So studies. What's the last sound? Z. Perfect. And which Z? Right. Anytime it's a suffix and it's a Z, we know it's going to be Z. All right, go ahead and make sure yours looks like mine. You need to fix it. Say the sounds while you're writing them. All right, so class, I know I had mentioned this with cities the other day. This E is important. Somehow this E tells us that this is replacing the Y, because if we leave this out, like some of us did this with cities the other day. Class, let's read this word.
Studies.
Studies. Yeah, somehow, if we're used to English, we see this E and we know we replace that Y. But if we don't have it, yeah, that can't say studies. All right. What kind of syllable is our first syllable?
Close.
Close syllable, good. Do we need to mark anything?
No.
Certainly not. How about this? This is saying E. How do we mark this every time it says E? Gentlemen, we're almost finished. Keep it up. Stay strong. Anytime this guy says E, how do we mark it? All right. Let's say the sounds of this phonogram. What are the sounds? I-E. Every time this says E, it gets a 3 on top, right? Just like this guy. So this needs a 3. How about this? Good, double underline because it's silent. This gets a double underline because it's silent. How about this one? Good, you remember that we said it's saying Z. All right, pick up your pencil and mark just that last syllable. There's nothing to mark in the first. All right, let's read our word, class.
Studies.
Good, studies. All right, and I'll just take this down because I don't want that to be confusing. All right. Okay, we've got time for one more word. I'll let you vote again just because you've been working so hard. We can either write honey or money. If you want to write honey, raise your hand. All right, if you want to write money, raise your hand. All right, we'll learn the word money. All right, put your hands down. You already learned how to add and subtract money in math, so it's good that we know how to spell it. Let's see, money. I dropped my money on the floor and lost it. Money. How many syllables are in money? Nice job. Thank you. I saw almost everyone's hand on there too. Good, there are 2 syllables, and I'm so sorry I forgot to tell you. Money is a 2-way word. To spell it, we say money. How do we say money to spell it?
Money.
Money. So our first syllable, can you tell me what it is?
Mon.
Mon. What are we going to write to spell mon?
M-O-N.
Excellent. Our second syllable is E. We're going to use A-E that we do use at the end of English words. Good, so one more time. What's our first syllable?
Mon.
Mon. And our second syllable?
E.
All right, say the sounds while you write them. Put your finger under the first phonogram in that word. Thank you, everyone who's ready to read the word to me. Ladies in the back. What is it?
Mon. Syllable break. E.
Which E?
E.
Oh, A-E that we do use at the end of English words. All right, make sure sure yours looks like that. All right, and let's mark it. Does this need a marking? How about this one? How about this guy? How about this one? All right, we'll underline it, but what are the two sounds of this phonogram?
A, E.
How do we need to mark it? We don't want to say money, because that wouldn't be a word. We've got to put that 2 on top. All right, go ahead and mark it. All right, let's read our word.
M-O-N-E, money.
Good, we say money to spell it, but when we're talking, we say money. 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 Everyone in? Oh, I love how you're almost all ready to tell me. Class, what gets our thinking cap?
O-O-U.
Exactly, remember that guy. Off, it's the one that makes, it's the vowel that makes a sound that's not one of its sounds the most often, and it's usually Right, so if I were reading this word and I didn't know it and I said money, then I would say, oh, I'm gonna try money. All right, excellent work today, class. We're going to read for a little bit, and then I think we did these words because they're some that we need to finish the first page of our notebook. So we'll come and do that. It should only take us 5 minutes, I think, to put these in before we go to recess. All right, so let's see.